Monday morning. I'm loud in your ear, Coach. That means it's chopping it up with Cador. I'm Perry White. He's Roger Cador. And it is another episode of Chopping It Up with Cador and along, of course, I'm Perry White. And guess what? If you hear my voice, hit that subscribe button right down underneath the video. Get that notification every time so you'll know we're going live. You'll get that as soon as we go live. It'll drop down and let you know and give you a message. And not only that, you'll be able to subscribe and go back and watch any of the past great videos that we have out there. Coach, how you doing today?
Perry, I'm doing really good.
I see. You're glowing. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I didn't do very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my weekends are usually basic weekends. I'll start getting a little busier because I'll be watching more and more SWAC baseball so I can evaluate some of the talents so we could pick players for the Swing Master All-Star game in Seattle.
You know, before we get started today, I want to say thoughts and prayers to the people. Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Have you paid attention to the news where that EF4 tornado went through and just completely decimated that entire community? And it just looked like a bomb went off. And so, you know, thoughts and prayers to those people in Mississippi. I go through Rolling Fork sometime on my way going through Arkansas, taking Highway 61 and coming around on the backside of Greenville. So I've been through that community before. And just to have seen the devastation after that tornado, man, that was just, it was mind-blowing to see that a tornado can completely wipe a town off the map.
Well, this ain't the first time, but I agree. It's always a sad situation when you're helpless. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't know where it's going to hit. Hurricanes, we have an idea that it's coming, but those tornadoes, man, and I expect some to go probably this morning through Georgia, maybe going through there and part of Tennessee. So let's keep our prayers for all of those people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We were spared. I had some thoughts of severe weather in the South Louisiana, Baton Rouge area over the weekend. They had games shifted around and people were playing it. But luckily, it was north of us. But unfortunately, although it was lucky for us, it was unfortunate for those people as that storm crossed over. And the worst part is when you have a storm like that comes at night.
Yes.
During the day, you can kind of gauge, but at night, you can't gauge anything. It's complete darkness. So, like I said, as we get started today, thoughts and prayers to everyone that were affected by the severe storms and tornadoes that went across the southeast over this weekend. And as we get started with today's show, he's a guest that played under you, coached with you, and is a graduate of Southern University, and he's now the scouting supervisor for the Cincinnati Reds. We want to welcome to the show today, Mr. Jerry Flowers. Good morning. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
There we go. There we go. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Doing good, man. So I found out, Coach, I was looking at I went to your LinkedIn, and Coach, I said, Coach, he graduated from Southern. He said, yes. He played for me. He coached with me. So, you know, it's an honor to have you on another former, well, I would say not former, another Southern alum. You're a Jaguar.
Uh-oh. Jerry is frozen.
He done froze up on us. And I was ready to, you know, say, what's up, Jerry? We'll get, okay. He might have got a call. He got to probably put his put it on Do Not Disturb. But we'll try to get Jerry back. But give us basically an intro into Jerry Flowers and who he is and your relationship.
Well, Jerry came to us as a player. He was at a school in Kansas, I think. Mm-hmm. And a kid from Chicago who ended up being a scout to Jerome Cockrum mentioned Jerry.
You can bring him on.
Okay.
We got you, Jerry.
Jerry?
He's giving us selfies. He's freezing up on us. But go ahead, Coach. You said from Chicago.
Yeah, and Jerry is from Chicago, by the way. And he mentioned that there was a player, and he said, you ought to give him a chance. So we brought him in, and he was legit. I liked his size. He could really run.
What position?
Outfield.
Okay.
But he really had a great attitude. That's what really impressed me about him. His attitude was so good.
A Chicago kid with a great attitude?
Yes, he did. I mean, he had a really good attitude. And I was impressed by that. So we went on and gave him a chance, and he ended up being a player. He started for us in left field and really did well through his career. And then it came after that, I'll never forget, he was working in the business world. Mm-hmm. And Marco Patti, who was another one of my former players and coaches, had just gotten a job with Atlanta Brave as a scout. And I remember my son Jonathan and I going to a football game at Southern, and Jerry and his wife were passing, and Jerry, can you hear me? Yeah. And we talked about the job which Marco had left, and the rest is history. So,
what's going on, Jerry? We finally got you.
I know it's in and out over here. I'm in Arizona.
Oh, okay. Where it don't rain at.
Yeah, I'm looking at you freezing up again.
Yeah,
keep it on him. Keep it on him.
He's gonna have to find that sweet spot. But go ahead, Coach. You said you gave him an opportunity. You liked his attitude.
Well, and that's the reason I gave him an opportunity, because his attitude was right. And he didn't know as much about coaching, but he was willing to learn. Mm-hmm. And what I did, I took him under my wings. And everywhere I could possibly go, I took Jerry with me. He and I travel a lot during the course and evaluating players. And then periodically I sent him out on his own for him to make his own decision on players. Mm-hmm. So I could get a feedback to where he was in his progression. And we pretty much did a pretty good job because I think, Jerry, what year were you coach under me? You remember?
93 to 96.
Yeah. So in 3 years, he was gone. That's very quick for a guy that hadn't spent all his life in baseball. Mm-hmm. So he had made the right. Was it Dijon that hired you? And I'm going to let you start talking. Was it Dijon? Oh, he froze up again. But keep it on him. Don't let him go. So, he got hired. And then he kept doing really good. Signed a lot of good players for Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Really helped him out. And they used those players as trade baits. And he's done a good job. But we've got a friend. I see, Jerry, you're moving a little now, right?
You got to find that sweet spot. There we go. Do not move, Jerry. Stay. That's the sweet spot.
I wanted to talk about Dijon, but go ahead and talk. Was Dijon the person that hired you? I don't think so.
No, it was a guy by the name of Julian Meyer.
Julio. There you go. Okay.
So, Jerry, he said you're from Chicago. He said a guy with a good attitude from Chicago. And I laughed. I said, man, you found a kid with a good attitude out of Chicago? He's like, man, it was something about him. What part of the Chicago are you from?
South Side.
Have you ever eaten you know what Stony Island is, correct? You ever
Yes, sir.
You ever eaten at a place called Tourist Flavors off of Stony Island?
Yeah, you got you a steak sandwich.
Yeah, steak and hope. I used to work there during the summers. My grandmother was married to Mr. Eddie Perkins, who owned Tourist Flavors. It was one there and off of Racine. So my summers were spent working right there off of Stony in that steak and hoagie shop. So he's legit if he knows about that spot. Oh, he gonna freeze up on us. That sweet spot didn't work anymore.
Yeah, so, but a good guy. Mm-hmm. Julius Mark was a really good baseball man and gave Jerry opportunity.
There we go, we got him.
So.
What's going on, Jerry? We got you now. All right.
All right.
Yeah, you say you know about Tourist Flavors, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So, for you making your trip down, let's start with you. And just for people out there, Coach had explained he came in. He liked what you brought in terms of being an outfielder and gave you a chance, man. What was your experience like coming from the north to the south, particularly Baton Rouge, and then playing under the legendary Coach Roger Cador?
Well, it was really a culture shock. And the reason why is because I went to school in Kansas. And I played football and baseball there. And I was in the first part of the transfer portal where a buddy of mine, Jerome Cochran, had recommended Southern to me as an option to transfer. So I went there with the idea thinking I could play football and baseball. And then when I got there and realized how important baseball was, it was a full.
Yeah, you got frozen again.
So you found you a two-sport athlete.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, there you go. Come on, Jerry.
Yes, and Coach didn't know that, though. I didn't tell him that.
That's right.
What school in Kansas were you at?
I was at Sterling College.
Sterling College, okay. Spent a little time in Kansas, mostly near that Lawrence, Kansas area. But I know I've heard of Coffeyville Community College, and they big with the JUCO leagues around Kansas because I knew some guys that went and played basketball and football up in that area.
Yes.
So tell me, you leave Kansas, you get down here, Coach Cador. Here's this guy with this personality, tall, and demanding excellence out of you.
Well, he tried to run me off, and I laughed at him, and I said, "Not only I'm gonna be your best player, but that was he did that with everybody to see if you can handle it." And because we had a roster of 70, 80 guys, so guys eliminate themselves. So what the famous quote was, "Stay close to the pack." And that's what I did.
What you say, you never know when your time is going to come.
When you got 70, 80 players, you need to stay close to the pack. Because I had that many players, and Jerry will be able to tell you now he's back. A lot of players were out there. Keep talking, Jerry.
Yeah, a few of them came by the wayside and fell by the wayside. But the good thing about it was competitive. And the kids who were able to make it through played and won championship.
You know, with your time spent playing SWAC baseball and now being a scout on the major league side, for you during your time playing in the SWAC, what did you think about the competition and how you evaluated that competition as you begin to move forward in your career?
Well, it's twofold.
Oh, we lost him. Yeah, Jerry has an interesting story too. I mean, when you think about it, that he only coached 3 years and then got into scouting. That's not for African Americans. That's not norm. That's not the norm. You have to burn a lot of hours. You got me? But I had a pretty good pipeline going. Once we got Marco Patty in, Jerry was the second one, and then after that, I was getting them in left and right. They were all coming. Professional baseball was coming to me because they were looking for African American scouts. And that's why at one time we had 7 or 8 scouts who had come out of our program. And they all were doing good now. They were all like where Jerry is. Jerry is not just an area scout. He's a supervisor. He's a national cross-checker. He only goes and see the top players. And that's what you want to see. Okay, Jerry, you're back. I'm trying to fill in a little about what your job title is.
Yeah, and I was asking the question with your job title now, supervisor over scouting for the Cincinnati Reds. Your time playing in the SWAC and being able to see the talent in the conference, what did you see during that time as you begin to move on from your time playing then to being a scout and how you evaluate talent, particularly in the conference like the Southwestern Athletic Conference?
Well, like I was mentioning earlier, the problem is the scouting industry kind of go with a traditional scouting base. Well, they feel more comfortable taking a kid from LSU because if they fail with that kid.
See, He's right.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to say they feel taking a kid from a small school because they could lose their job. They'll take a kid from an LSU and or Tulane or Miami because they'll feel okay. That was a situation that occurred with one of my former coaches who was scouting for the San Francisco Giants. It came out of a pitcher from LSU and a pitcher from Southern. And I had told him, always stand up for what you believe is right. And that opportunity came when his scouting supervisor came to him and said, you mean to tell me you would take a kid from Southern over a kid from LSU? That was the telling time. And he said, I would take him in this case because the kid from Southern is better than the kid from LSU. Fast forward, they took the kid from Southern. He played in the big league. The kid from LSU played 1 year and was gone. I'm back with Jerry right now. I was telling a story about Bradway when he was forced to take Cody Hall over the pitcher from LSU. He stood with the principle, always stayed with the principle.
Well,
and that's the one thing I taught all of those guys going out. That's why I gave him opportunity at Southern to make decisions and defend their decision.
That's it.
I gave him, we were in a courtroom, so to speak. Tell me why you want this kid. And you give them a chance to explain what they saw and why they do it. And this is why they were prepared. When they left me, they were prepared. And that's why they did so good. Okay, Jerry, you're back.
A good example of coach had a guy named Fred Lewis who ended up playing about 9 years in the big league.
Who's Fred Lewis?
Fred Lewis was another one of our players. We got him out of a JC out of Wigan, Mississippi, and played 1 year with us, and was really did well. We had Ricky Weeks and all them guys, remember now. And he ended up playing 1 year with us and then got drafted in the second round by the Giants. And ended up in 2 years he was in the big league, won a World Series. So, and Jerry, like you say, played 9 years in the major. Those are the kind of situations that nobody wanted really Fred Lewis, by the way. Again, that same guy who had to defend himself to his boss about taking a player from Southern over a player from LSU. He recommended Fred Lewis to me, and I put him on the spot. I told him, why would I sign that kid? Why? I said, I don't like him. And he defended that kid, and he said, he didn't show you everything that he could do, but he showed it to me. And I know with your ability to coach people up, he was blowing smoke on me now. He said, with your ability to coach people up, you'll get him better. And he'll be a big leaguer, and he was. We got Jerry back.
Yeah, and as I was saying about the Fred Lewis story, which was so interesting, is I brought in a lot of our heavyweights to evaluate Fred, Ricky Weeks, Antoine Gray, Robert Townsend, and a kid by the name of Damian Erston, who I ended up selecting in the draft. But the point I was making was, they said, why would a kid bat ninth at a historically black college be a major league talent? I said, well, coaches put the lineup together to win. And the kid wasn't a bad hitter. He just had other guys ahead of him. And the moral of the story is, when we got a chance to work him out and saw his talent and how the game is, he ended up playing for the Cincinnati Reds.
I think we see that same evaluation process where they call it lazy evaluation, where you see it in the NFL. You know, you got the FBS, then you got FCS, then you got everything below. And a lot of times they go for those guys from the Power Fives or the FBS, and then, you know, they come down to the FCS level and say, well, the competition level that this guy is going against isn't quite the same every game that this Power Five guy is going against. But still, you can't deny the heart and the athleticism that a lot of times I look at it even where you evaluate high school football players out of the state of Texas. We know Texas, when they look at high school players, all of the state-of-the-art facilities, the weight programs, everything. A lot of those guys, when you evaluate them, typically are in systems and programs that have prepared them to be successful. Then when you look at Louisiana with as many guys that's going pro in the NFL, it's raw talent. And you can't really evaluate that raw talent because a lot of times, I won't say you can't, but it's hard because a lot of times that raw talent is not within a program that is winning, and they base a lot of it off of the success that the team is having. Would you say that's kind of what you see on the baseball side as well, where, you know, you're overlooking that, looking for a successful program and a guy coming out of a big name successful program, but not paying attention to a guy that's coming from one of those smaller programs in which his raw talent may not necessarily be what you get from a guy that's coming out of a well put together program?
Well, the way the game is now, it's all about signing bonus. So some kids are going to get more money. So the kids with the more talent might get less money because of the risk factor. And a good example is the kid named Jordan Walker, who's now with the St. Louis Cardinals as a 20-year-old. And he's a high school kid out of Atlanta area. And he was the 21st pick in the draft in the COVID year. So he didn't play a lot of minor league baseball. And here's a kid got a chance to play in the big leagues and make it with a winning franchise.
Yeah, I saw where they announced yesterday they were going to keep him. I was happy to see that Major League Baseball now is saying, if you earn the right, we're going to keep you. We're not looking at the control years anymore. I see the Yankees did the same thing, and somebody else kept a top flight kid rather than send them to the minor league. We lost Jerry again. But what is happening now is more and more major league teams are keeping that best and brightest talent. You got to win. That's what they're trying to do. You give a kid a lot of money, you want to win and produce and develop that talent at the major league level.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation of chopping it up with Cador and myself and get Jerry back in that sweet spot again. All right? So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Yes, we're back. Monday morning, chopping it up with Cador and Perry White. Of course, you see him. He's the legend. He's the man. That's Roger Cador sitting there looking like money. And if you hear my voice, baby, hit that subscribe button right there. Get that notification every time we go live. Here, we're joined by our guy, Jerry Flowers. Jerry, you found that sweet spot yet?
I hope so.
You out by the pool now, huh?
Yeah.
Long as you don't try to swim, Jerry. We know you're out in the desert there, but, stay away from the pools.
Let's jump back into the conversation, Jerry. We were talking about the evaluation of you being a supervisor of scouts for the Cincinnati Reds and talking about the ups and downs in terms of evaluating guys. And you were saying something before we went to break in terms of making a point of how everything works out when you're looking at maybe passing over a guy that you said could be ninth in batting order over a guy. And they're questioning, why? But as you said, it's coach trying to win some games. It's not necessarily who the player is.
Exactly. It's happening in all of the colleges. A good example, we look at the pitchers now. Mostly Friday night starters are the ones who we zero in on. But now the coaches are getting smart and getting those guys in multiple uses. Like Friday night start or come back and close them on a Sunday.
I bet he was getting a call. That's exactly what it was. He was getting a call. But, I want to ask you a question. You talking about having 70, 80 guys on a roster. What separated you? Because, the teams are already out here in terms of HBCUs with African-American baseball players. But what separated you in terms of being able to go out and stockpile this amount of talent to where MLB said Roger Cador seems to be on to something down there in Baton Rouge?
Oh, well, it was just Jerry's back. Because I could do it. Back then, there were a lot of black kids playing baseball, and I went into the inner cities and got a lot of them. I was able
Like
to get
Jerry.
it. Jerry them. I mean, it's probably was 6, 7, 8 guys from Chicago when he played, was right? Muffet was one of them? Felipe Muffet?
No, we had the starting lineup for you, Coach. Chicago, Detroit.
Yeah.
Tell him it was, hey, you had the whole lineup for him, huh?
Boy, I tell you, I could go in and get so many players. It was so easy, you know.
And Jerry, for you, the scouting realm of today's world, going out evaluating talent, of course, you got travel ball everywhere, high school ball, a lot of kids, you know, you see that jump from high school to MLB for some of those kids who have the talent, but even the minor leagues in terms of guys going out and playing for them. What is scouting like for you these days when you're going out evaluating talent for Cincinnati?
Well, my job is a little different because I look at the guys that cost the most money in the draft. So what we do is evaluate them, we rank them, and we try to put a list together.
And what Jerry is talking about when he said he look at different, he only looking at kids probably. Okay, Jerry, keep going. You're back.
What we try to do is rank the first 2 rounds of the draft and see who we have a chance to get in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you don't get to see a bunch of the no-name kids. Your scouts provide you all with a list of who in their area they're considered first and second round draft possibility. And those are the people you all go first to evaluate. Am I correct? That you go out.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to set the thing up for the listening audience could understand that you're not looking at anybody. They just can't call and say, hey, Jerry, Southern has got a guy you need to see. Them days are over with. Am I correct?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh.
But that's the way it is. He has to go. He's got scouts all over the country, and they're being paid to look at people and give them so Jerry them can go in and evaluate.
Okay, Perry, the same fate. I'm watching Southern against Mississippi State.
When they going to play?
In a couple of weeks.
Okay, so there it is, Perry. He'll get to see Southern.
Well, somebody from Southern better catch his attention because typically, I guess in the world, even with you coaching, have you gone to look for one guy and then somebody else caught your attention?
Yeah, it happened, but it don't happen that much anymore. Back then it did. It ain't happening like that. Every now and then, I'm so Jerry's seen something like that, but it doesn't happen as frequent as it used to happen. Am I correct, Jerry?
Yeah, with the information and data we get down, we pretty much know who's who.
Yeah.
Kid got to really do some special things, but at the same time, we still evaluate the tools of the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those tools are the 5 tools are the running, fielding, hitting, throwing, and showing some power.
And I want to say this to the audience. You know, I coached at Southern. I did a lot of things there. I mean, you know, people who are evaluators like Jerry are not discriminating against Southern or Grambling. Mm-hmm. It's just that I want to reemphasize, when they get a list of who the top players are, Jerry have an obligation to go look at the top players, and then he has to give it to his boss, his evaluation of the top players. Am I right or wrong, Jerry?
Yes.
You know, I want to ask the question to you, Jerry. Uh-oh, did he freeze up on us?
Yeah.
I had a question.
Okay,
there we go. What is it like as an African-American male in this realm of which you look at baseball today? And we always constantly have this conversation, even when you look at African-American baseball players, the lack of in the major leagues.
In your question, they're too long before he freezes.
And come on, Coach, I gotta phrase it because the people out there don't understand it. You know, they not baseball connoisseurs like you two, but for you, when you go out for the baseball guys in the administrative roles, What is it like to be an African American male and work your way up to be a supervisor in that role?
A lot of luck and tough skin.
And have at least one boss like Dijon Watson. That's our friend. We can talk about.
I'm not gonna talk about him.
His daddy was Johnny.
Guitar Watson.
Guitar. Yeah, his son is he's with the Washington Nationals. Yeah, he's a friend of ours in baseball, and we have a joke that only Jerry and we're not going to talk about.
Okay, yeah.
Dijon might be listening, but he better be able to play. Yeah. Now, Jerry, I know you said you'll be watching Southern and Mississippi State in a couple of weeks. When will your travel bring you back to watch some Louisiana schools?
We don't have a lot of names to follow in Louisiana.
Other than the pitcher at LSU and Crew?
Well, I've seen those guys already.
Yeah.
And those guys are be long gone by the time we get.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. You know, you all pick what? About 6?
7.
7? Yeah. Yeah, those guys will be gone. You know.
I'm gonna let you go. My question's too long because I'm digging into them. I'm trying to, but I'm gonna let you go. You got it, go.
No, you can get it. You can get it out.
Well, you know,
I'll try to get to it as quickly as possible.
Because I'm so interested because it's not often, like I'm saying, I'm watching this from a perspective of seeing, because we had Tony Reagan on and then having you on, seeing African-American males in this field is intriguing to me. But most importantly, the work environment, the process of how you get to a position. Tony being a former GM, you being a supervisor of scouts. You guys are huge when you talk about the importance of these organizations, but most importantly, you look like us. And I know it's not a lot of us in that realm, and so I'm always intrigued in terms of how does one work his way through that process and how does one ultimately becomes a supervisor, a GM, and leave hope for the next generation of the young brothers that look like us to give them an opportunity at that level.
Yeah, he'll get. There he is.
You gotta have a very supporting cast at the house. You gotta have a short driveway. You gotta be able to turn the key on, and you gotta go out and give an honest evaluation.
Just like that.
And get a player now and then.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, you've gotten a bunch of players. I mean, I'm so proud of the fact that you got some players who were not first rounders. See, and that's when you know a scout is doing his job. Mm-hmm. When you're able to get the kid from the 5th through the 15th round. You got me? That's when a lot of people make their living right there. Am I correct? Can you talk about kids that's drafted from the 5th through the 10th round or 15th round? How teams try to parlay that into making their draft work?
Well, every draft has got to have a balance. And what I mean by that is the first round is the guys who we think should make it. And every round after that, it's almost like it's a risk factor. Mm. So if you hit on the guy that makes it in a...
See, that's the key. Mm-hmm. You know, the first through the 5th round, you got to get at least 2 kids out of that you think got to make it. Jerry's back.
Yeah, so if you hit on the 7th round, that helps balance out the guys that don't make it. Everybody don't make it.
You know, I guess most importantly, as we get ready to round this thing all together, for you, what is the state of baseball, Major League Baseball today, in terms of the interest of the fans, the engagement of the fans, and the importance of getting the diversity of more African-American players into Major League Baseball in 2023 moving forward?
Well, just an opinion of the game. I think the game has lost its fan base because what they're doing now is they implemented betting. So what's happening is a lot of people want to bet on things of the game versus watching the game.
I'm guilty of it. I am guilty of it. Online betting, I am guilty of it. I'm sorry, Jerry.
This is a young guy, man. Guy from Arkansas.
I'm doing some online
Yes.
betting.
Yeah.
But do you think that is it taken away from the integrity of the game?
Well, the game is still going to be the game.
Okay.
Yeah, the game is a beautiful game. We've lost some fans because, and I'm glad they're making some changes, speeding the game up. Because I think they realize the generation, to get the next generation of people, they need to have things happen faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the attention span. Let's do this. Let's take a
Go
break.
ahead, take a break.
Take one more break, and then we'll come back and get Jerry. Maybe he'll find that other sweet spot. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of African Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locks in at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights, gravitate towards something out of this world, even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
It is time to trade in your isolation for celebration, to break out and get away. And at Baton Rouge Metro Airport, you'll get away a lot quicker. BTR is way closer, more convenient, with easy parking, check-in that's a breeze, and non-stops and short hops to anywhere you want to go. So get back to your life and be quick about it. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. FlyBTR.com.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Yes, we're back chopping it up with Cador. I'm Perry White. He's Roger Cador. Hit that subscribe button. Get the notification every time we go live, as well as be able to go back and watch any of the previous episodes. We're joined today by a very special guest, a Southern University grad as well. 3 of us in the building today. He's Jerry Flowers. He's the supervisor over scouting for the Cincinnati Reds, man. And we got Jerry. Is he there? Oh, he's not there. Okay, well, Jerry, it was good to have him on today. You brought him on. He's a scout, done a lot of work for you. And
yeah, he was the one that found Ricky Weeks, by the way.
Was he?
Yeah, Jerry found Ricky Weeks and made the call to me. And that was in his area. He had the Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois area. And it was February, cold part of the year. So they sent him to Florida in a thing they call snowbirding. Mm-hmm. So he was snowbirding down there, and he goes to Orlando, and he sees this kid, and he said, "Hey man, you got to get on him right now." And that's exactly what I did.
And it was history from there.
Amazing.
Let me ask you this: we're gonna kind of pivot a little bit. College basketball. You been watching some games?
Yeah.
What have you seen?
I like what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
The transfer portal, the older players, like at San Diego State, has made a difference. You could see where teams that have veteran players usually did pretty good. So I think we'll see in the future going forward more transfer portal, more older players, more role players, not necessarily NBA kind of players, but good team concept players.
All the number 1 seeds are gone. Purdue, Houston, Alabama, Kansas. I was cheering, of course, as an Arkansas Razorback fan. We made it to the Sweet 16 for the 3rd year in a row, but we played against UConn. And the way I saw UConn dominate Arkansas, I think UConn, for me, at this point, might be the clear-cut favorite. They're big, they're physical. It's hard to score against them. Great defensive team. Man, right now, for me, if I had to pick a team, I'd probably go with UConn. But how about a team like Florida Atlantic? People say, well, who the hell is Florida Atlantic? Right. Here's a team with a basketball program that has found themselves in the Final Four, man. And this year, for once, you look around and you don't see those blue bloods of basketball. We got some new names of teams in college basketball competing for a national championship that has made it to the Final Four.
Just remember, the name on the jersey don't play the game. It's the people who wearing the jersey.
That's it.
Who plays the game. And that's why Florida
Atlantic
is doing good. This is why San Diego State is doing good. UConn, all of those schools, they weren't picked to finish nowhere, but they've done a good job. And I'm missing whoever that other school is in there. I named 3.
I can't think of the 4th one, too. Who is the 4th one? We apologize with you. Hey, good luck to you. Because if we're talking about Florida Atlantic and UConn, man, those are 2 teams that are rough. And you're going to have to really bring it when you get in there and play those teams. But overall, we putting a stamp on college basketball. We didn't.
Is it Miami?
I think Miami got put out.
Oh, I thought Miami beat Texas.
Let's make sure.
Well, maybe.
Let's make sure. See, that's the beauty of the phone.
Yeah.
I could just pull this thing out.
Okay, we got Jerry back. Jerry, you're
on
back. We venture off into basketball. It's good to have you back. Perry,
the 4th team is Miami.
Yeah, it is. It's Miami versus UConn.
Okay.
And then it's going to be Florida Atlantic versus San Diego.
He was trying to tell me I was wrong, but I got him.
I can admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. So, I'm sorry, Hurricane fans. All right. The U. I got them confused with last night playing LSU on the women's side. Excuse me. Jerry, I don't think we had anybody on the show switch as many locations as you, my brother.
It's crazy.
My Instagram name is Where's Perry. You might need to pick that up. Where's Jerry, man, because you all over the place.
You're outside of Phoenix? You're outside of Phoenix or in the city of Phoenix?
Inside the city.
Oh, okay. I thought you might be closer to the mountains. So you got to see a pretty good kid there at Grand Canyon, huh? You know, Grand Canyon is a team we played in the World Series back in 72 and 73. They beat us both years. They were really good. We played them out there in Phoenix, too. So I'll never forget that. I got hurt my senior in 73 sliding into third base. Thought I broke my ankle, but I came out of it okay. But they were a pretty good program. So, Jerry, we were talking about getting the kid a 7-rounder. Maybe it can be good. That would balance out if a second, third, or fourth round guy doesn't really work out. But you do the same thing in the 10th, 12th. Also, you're looking to make a good deal. Do you necessarily go with a high school kid mainly or a college kid?
Well, the draft is not the same every year because you have the same candidates. Some years you might have a heavy draft class of college or high school, depends. So you try to balance it out.
That makes sense.
Because you need places for those guys to place.
Yeah. And we got to remember, they cut 750 jobs out when they eliminated a lot of teams. And then, you got 20 rounds now, right?
Correct.
I got to ask you, Jared, this is off the subject. A Chicago boy makes his way down to Baton Rouge on the campus of Southern University. Day one, you looked around. Was your eyes big as an owl, or how was it for you? You looking around at everything.
I was loving the scenery.
I get that from everybody who ends up saying when they've never been to Southern and they first time and they come down and they step foot on that campus, they say the same thing. And that's a good way to put it, loving the scenery.
Yeah.
I loved it so much, I'd have married my wife there.
Yeah. Ed was the kid who played cornerback for LSU, Stingley. His daddy was in your class, the same class with you at Southern?
No, he's 2 years younger.
2 years after you. You know, Stingley, daddy played for me.
Did he?
When he came out.
I didn't know he played for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot of people started. So, Jerry, now, this year, we lost him. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know Stingley's father played for you. Man, you got a lot. You just got to go down and listen. I mean, just check. It'll be amazing just to know. Because there's a pastor here in Baton Rouge that has a church. Danny Donaldson, he played for you, didn't he?
Who?
Pastor Danny Donaldson at Rosehill. Did he play for you? No?
Not that I know of.
Okay, might have been a little bit before. Okay, but I think he played baseball at Southern.
Okay, Jerry, I wanted to ask the question, and it's probably slipped my mind now.
Go ahead.
Is Cincinnati concentrating more on the high school kids, or you're trying to get the balance, high school and college?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we like the balance, but the history states that the high school kid end up being the superstar player in the big leagues.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you, because baseball have the ability to identify that superstar player at a young age and draft him and develop him, and he gets better, where very few college kids go to college and become superstars.
I'm curious to know, where's the hotbed? You said, you wasn't looking at a lot of guys in Louisiana. Where's the hotbed right now in terms of baseball talent, where everybody has their eyes on?
Florida. Georgia.
Texas. And, of course, California, right?
California.
No Arkansas? No Arkansas in there?
Not this year.
No Illinois? What? I didn't even hear you say that, no Illinois?
Well, it's not considered hotbed, but you have your talent pool of players that can play.
Yeah. That's interesting. And even though when you guys looking, how many of the guys from the JUCO realm like yourself are able to make it onto that next level?
Well, we got a few examples of like Tim Anderson with the White Sox, a guy by the name of Roy Oswald, who me and Coach, who we tried to recruit.
Ozar?
Roy Oswald, you remember?
Yeah, Roy Ozar. Yeah. We weren't afraid to recruit anybody.
You have a guy named Andron Sedgman. Yeah, the junior college is plentiful.
Well, Jerry, we get ready to wrap this thing up here, man. What's as we get ready to close out, what's on your schedule as the spring starts to really open up?
Open? I'm almost finished.
That's right. This guy's he's not a baseball guy.
Well, I say open up because I'm using springtime. Spring is just beginning, and I'm sure you're gonna be out. You say you're gonna be watching Southern Mississippi State. You're gonna probably be out looking at some others. You're in Arizona now, checking out some games. So you're on the back end of it, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not the big baseball guy like you guys, man. I have the conversations, but baseball is near and dear to my heart because as a youngster, baseball was something that I loved, I watched, I played, and it was something that mattered to me. And I think for this next generation of young African-American males, man, I want to see that same excitement about the game because we see it so much in football, we see it so much in basketball, but it does not seem to resonate the same way that it did in baseball like then, especially when you look at urban cities. I know you can look at Chicago, I can look at places in Arkansas and see fields that were once filled with teams are now abandoned and nobody's there. And so, I'm hoping that we can get baseball back on track in order to re-energize the next generation to get them ready and up to play for the game.
One quick suggestion would be is to tell everybody to stay home and play at home.
There you go. Stay at home and play at home. That's why I think they need to do with in Baton Rouge. Play at Brick and all of that. You don't have to travel. Just play the game,
Yeah, that travel ball is kind of
expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
It's not for the kids, it's for the parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Jerry, thank you for coming on today, man. It was good having a conversation. Man, it was great to see you in all your different locations as well.
Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Hopefully,
no problem.
Hope we'll be able to catch up with one of your friends next time.
Oh, good luck.
All right. Thanks a million.
All right, Jerry, thank you, man.
All right. Okay.
All right. That was Jerry Flowers supervising over the scouts for the Cincinnati Reds, former Southern University baseball player under you, coach, with you, and as well as a Southern University grad. What does it make you feel like as a coach when you look at guys like him and many others that have gone off to be successful, inner city kids, you brought them here, and they was ultimately on the right track?
Well, I can say I had some kind of plan. After we sent Marco the first one out, I had a plan that I wanted to send many more out and that I wanted to leave a mark on baseball, that I had this tree and the branches came out of the tree and they went out and did great things. And that's what we've done. We've left a mark on baseball. Marco Patty, so many players, Jerry Flowers, Bradway, Chip, all of those guys, Don Thomas. I mean, when I look at players in the big league now, a lot of them were drafted by those guys.
That's what makes you a Hall of Famer. That's why you're in more Hall of Fames than I have fingers on one hand, aren't you? How many Hall of Fames are you in now, Coach?
Doesn't matter.
That's what happens when you in so many. Doesn't matter. I would be happy to be in one, but when you're in multiple, man, that is an honor and a privilege, and that's why it's an honor and privilege right here to do the show with you, to be able to see former guys that have gone off to be successful, like Jerry, to come back and tell the stories of Coach tried to run me away, but it was because of that pushed me to be great, and now I'm successful in life.
That's right.
And I love those success stories, man, and I think that's the beauty of what makes a coach a coach. Get the best out of that guy. I can't make it easy for you. I'm not finna make you think you finna get at home and kick your feet up. No, you got to hit the ground running.
Well, your competition, the people you compete against are not going to make it easy.
Yeah.
So I used to tell my son all the time, I'm trying to get you where you'll be able to survive once you leave these walls, beyond these walls. Because people outside of these walls are terrible. They're tough.
Yeah. The world would chew you up and spit you out.
There you go.
All right, well, we reached the end of another episode today of Chopping It Up with Cador. He's Roger Cador. I'm Perry White. We thank you guys for tuning in. Thank Jerry Flowers for coming on, taking the time out of his busy schedule to speak with us this morning. And for all of you out there that is watching on YouTube and whatever else, hit that subscribe button. Always stay in tune with us when we go live, and as well as go back and watch any of those episodes if you didn't get to catch them live. Some great episodes over the past few months between Coach and I, along with some guests. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And as always, Coach, still us out.